Donald Trump said he's going to take over Gaza.
The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it too.
Aside from the absolute arrogance is the fact that the US makes statements now against values that it preaches to the rest of the world, to lecture the rest of the world to move towards world peace, but at the same time it's literally waging war upon somebody else. And then it lectures the world about territorial sovereignty, and at the same time it has no respect for the so-called sovereignty of other nations.
We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site, level the site and get rid of the destroyed buildings.
And then ironically he talks about repairing and rebuilding Gaza, whilst the man who destroyed Gaza in the first place is standing right next to him. What is going on in US politics? What has happened to the superpower of the world? Is it losing its edge? Is it in decline? Let's be very clear here. The US has openly and blatantly threatened to colonize somebody else's land and then exile those people to other places in the world.
We're talking tonight about the United States taking over a sovereign territory. What authority would allow you to do that? Are you talking about a permanent occupation there?
I do see a long-term ownership position, and I see it bringing great stability to that part of the Middle East and maybe the entire Middle East.
Once upon a time, the US carried itself ideologically, as statesmen, as leaders of the world, something to offer the world in their values, in their principles, which fundamentally we disagree with, but nonetheless they carried themselves in a certain way. Those days are long gone. You've had Biden, who has been the most loyal kutta that the occupiers have ever seen. And now you got Donald Trump coming along, spilling beans left, right, centre, showing the world exactly what US policy really means. To take advantage of the weak, to support oppressors against the oppressed, to take whatever land and resources they can, and to impose their own agenda, their own blueprint, their own vision for the world upon everybody else, whether they agree or don't agree. These actions don't actually come from a position of strength, by the way. This desperation is a sign of the weakness of the US. It shows a weakness in its thinking, in its vision for the world, in the way that it carries itself. It shows that the US is on a downward trajectory, and therefore it comes out with some crazy and erratic stuff. We're going to change the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. We're going to invade Greenland and Canada. We're going to impose tariffs on the whole world. We're going to go into Gaza and take it over completely. Hasn't the US tried to colonize land in the past? Be it in Vietnam, be it in Iraq, be it in Afghanistan. Do you think that indigenous people are just going to scoot over and let you take their land? It should take lessons from its own history. Having said that, they're the elephant in the room. When a nation thousands of miles away has basically declared war upon oppressed, displaced, defenseless people, what has been the response of our own rulers? If the US decides to invade Gaza tomorrow, what are our own rulers going to do about it? Do we really think that Erdogan, Sisi, Abdullah, all these other jokers are actually going to step in for the people of Palestine against the US? Or will they all decide to keep their mouths shut and to sit back down like good little boys because you do not bite the hand that feeds you? They were put in by the US, they are maintained and funded by the US, they are on the payrolls and the pay slips of the US, and they will do exactly what the US tells them to do. The US has already colonized our lands, not by direct colonization, but by hand-picking the rulers in our own lands, who look like us, dress like us, talk like us, speak like us, have names like our names, but their thinking, their values, their principles, their actions are completely in line with the US agenda for the world. There are so many events going on in the world today, be it in Palestine, be it with the US and China, be it with the AI race, be it with tariffs and trade wars, be it with the war in Ukraine, be it with Trump himself and his domestic policies. One thing's for sure, that the only constant in life is change. And for the Muslims specifically, there is also an opportunity here to create a change within the Muslim world whereby we reshape our focus and our vision for mankind, not through what's imposed on us, but through what our deen teaches us.